Hi all. In this session we are going to discuss one of the most important anti-colonial movements of India, the Santhal Rebellion. The establishment of British power in India was a prolonged process of conquest, consolidation and colonization. From the inception itself, it began to create discontent, resentment and resistance from almost all quarters of India. The 1857 revolt is often considered as the most important or the most vibrant after effect of almost all the already existed problems in India. Even before the 1857 revolt itself, we have a series of civil rebellions, peasant struggles and tribal uprisings. One of the most important pre-1857 anti-colonial movement was the Santhal Rebellion, or popularly called as the Santhal Hool of 1855-56. The Santhals were basically tribals. They were originally the inhabitants of Cuttack Midnapur area, which was then a tribal belt of the Bengal Presidency and now part and parcel of Jharkhand and eastern India. Because of the permanent settlement system established by the colonial government, the life of the Santhals in their own homeland became miserable and they were forced to leave their homeland. They had to find new places for their living. And thus, with the colonial support itself, they came to an area called Daman-i-Ko. The Daman-i-Ko area, which is an area between Bhagalpur and Rajmahal Hills. The Rajmahal Hills area was already occupied by another tribals called the Paharias. The Santhal came to this new land, that is the Daman-i-Ko area, to start a new life. They cleared the forest and started cultivation. But along with this, the problem started. The Zamindars of the nearby areas began to claim these lands as their own, and they started to demand a heavy amount of tax from these communities. And along with the heavy amount of taxation, the mode of tax collection was also really harsh and rude. It was unbearable for the Santhal community. Along with the interference of the Zamindars, there started the interference of the moneylenders. The moneylenders started to lend money to the Santhal community. But the rate of interest was really high. That means it spans from about 50% to 500%. So it was natural that the Santhal community who have taken this money was not able to repay this amount. Those who failed to repay this amount became bonded laborers along with their families. Thus, in short, because of the interference of the Zamindari class and the moneylenders, their freedom, the only freedom they have, had lost. They have not received any help from the police or the law and order situations maintained there. So there was no ray of hope. In short, we can say that the Zamindari class, the moneylenders, the police, the court, the government, all were together in suppressing and exploiting the Santhals. So, all these factors resulted in the starting of the Santhal Rebellion of 1855-56. In 1854 itself, the tribal heads called the Majlis and the Parganites have had a small meeting. And after this meeting, there began to occur small skirmishes in the Daman-i-Ko area. That means small kind of lootings, the Zamindars and the Mahajans were attacked. Such kind of small incidents began to occur. And the principal leaders of the rebellion were Sidhu and Kanhu, and they were ably assisted by Chand and Bhairo. The leaders of the rebellion called for an assembly of 6,000 Santhal youths from about 400 villages of Baganati area. They met on 30th June 1855, which officially inaugurated the rebellion. The rebellion was primarily against Dikkus and for the complete annihilation of alien rule there. They want to usher a Satyug, by which they have to start their own rules and regulations, and they want to start their own tax collection method. They mobilize men and women from the entire Santhal villages, mainly by conducting various processions. They have about consolidated 60,000 Santhal youths, and they divided the 60,000 Santhal youths to bands of 1,500 and 2,000. These bands began to attack the various government machineries and offices like Zamindars, Mahajans, then post offices, railway lines, etc. They attacked all the foreign symbols in their own area, and they were ably assisted by various non-tribals like Gwalas and Lohas. They supported them with whatever they have. It shows that the Santhals got the support of various non-tribal communities, that means civil population as well. The government was surprised to see such an open revolt, and they tried to crush the revolt using a small force. But the force really failed miserably because of the guerrilla warfare and other means of the Santhal tribals. Later, the government understood the situation and they sent a heavy troop along with the Nawab of Murshidabad. They also offered heavy rewards for those who captured the tribal leaders. Thus, with the treacherous means and by using violent force, they crushed the revolt by all the means. About 15,000 tribals were killed, about 10 villages were entirely destroyed, and almost all the tribal villages were affected. and at the same time their economy was completely crushed. It was more violent in some of the pickpocket areas and their bloodshed was very high. The rebellion came to an end by 3rd January 1856 itself by the withdrawal of the martial law already declared in that area. The Santhal Rebellion of 1855-56 was not only against the Zamindars or Mahajans, it was against almost all the colonial policies started by the British government in India. Their unscientific revenue system, their mode of tax collection, their interferences in the private life of Indians, all had resulted in the starting of this revolt. The rebellion was a precursor or acts as an important factor for the starting of the 1857 revolt and thereby the prolonged struggle for our freedom. Thanks for watching this video.